You ready? Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Back at you with another episode of Ball Sports. I'm Brandon, your host. Today, I'm going to give you 5 things in the NBA that need to be fixed. I'm going to go into detail about each one. Let me know in the comments if you feel differently, or maybe I missed something, or maybe some of these things are already in place. Number 1, we'll start off with how close the crowd is. The crowd is way too close to the players, and it creates a huge safety risk for everybody involved, the players and even the coaches and the crowd. It causes a major safety risk. We've seen it a couple times where the crowd will reach out and touch the NBA player. It could create more tripping situations. And I overall think that even the announcer's table is a little bit too close. I think maybe moving it back a foot or two wouldn't really affect your ticket sales or anything like that. In no other sport is anybody this close to the game or fight or anything like that. So I feel we need to push the crowd back and even the announcer's table just a little bit. Give the referees more room to move, and it's a huge safety risk. There's a lot of things. I ain't going to go into too much detail, but there's a lot of things. If somebody spills a cup, if somebody puts their foot out, somebody wants to grab an NBA player, in crucial moments of the game, this could really cause a complication. So move the crowd back a little bit. When the shooter initiates contact, it should be an offensive foul. This is kind of an iffy subject because it's kind of called nowadays, but not really, and not as much as it should be. James Harden, Devin Booker, and even my boy Westbrook are habitual offenders with this. Eliminate hand checking on both ends. It causes for a lot of injuries, slows the game down, and there's just more there's more fouls. So if you implement this rule, I think that it would create for a lot better basketball, especially the hand checking. I don't think that should be a thing. Calling more moving screens is number 3. They're dangerous, and they would create more one-on-ones. We see a little bit about that, but they're still not called as often as they should be, and it's another health risk and another safety risk for everybody involved. And I think the one-on-one is more about what basketball needs to be about. Obviously, it's a team sport, but the way the game's transitioning now, it would create for more one-on-ones. It would make a way more exciting game. So call the moving screens more. Got to do it. Number 4 is more challenges and challenge penalties. I think there should be 3 coaches challenge. And I feel it should be more debatable as far as the refs getting together and maybe making a majority decision rather than one ref making the decision. And this is another one. There should be challengeable fouls. I know they implemented it this year. They still don't go the right way they should. I think you should be able to challenge all fouls, offensive, and you should even be able to challenge technical fouls. A lot of them, especially this year, that have been called are just absurd with the way they call things and the unfair bias they have towards certain players. People like LeBron don't get as many fouls as they should, and people like James Harden probably get too many fouls. So the fouls should be challengeable. I don't think anybody's going to argue about that, and they should have more challenges because the refs don't always get it right, and we've seen that in the past. And 5, the most important one, I think, is the playoff system. The top 16 teams should battle it out instead of 8 from each conference. I really don't understand that. They should put all the best records all together, and then the top 16 teams should go. I know they're talking about implementing things like this in the upcoming season, but I wanted you to hear it first. The better teams would be playing, and there would be more competition in the playoffs. I think it's unfair that an 8th seed has to play the 1st seed. And so on and so forth. We see a lot of the times, if you're an 8th seed and your team barely slips into the playoffs, they're usually bounced by the 1st seed. Hardly ever does a team come out of that, especially, 1st and 8th, 2nd and 7th. The closer you get to the middle of the pack, you're facing more even teams. I get that, you work the whole season to have this upper advantage on people, but I think it's a broken system that needs to be changed. I know they've had changes in the past, especially in like the 80s. There was a different playoff system. It was either 70s or 80s. They had a different playoff system, and things worked a lot differently, and it definitely made for better playoffs. But this has been another episode of Ball Sports. This is 5 things in the NBA that need to be fixed. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, make sure you get notifications every time I drop a video. If you got this far, I appreciate you. Thank you for always following the channel and supporting it. But this has been another episode of Ball Sports. I'm Brandon.